Hey everyone, welcome to episode 129 of Business Growth School for Service Providers. I'm your host Ali Salman, and this podcast is brought to you by Rapid Boost Marketing, online marketing for service providers. Today we are doing the part 2 of 7 business growth strategies, the weekly 7 business growth strategies part 2. The first one we did last Saturday. This one, so it will be coming out every Saturday for you guys, and we'll talk about the 7 strategies we have discussed previously on the show, but revisiting them, so it's kind of a refresher for everyone. The first one we're going to talk about is basically I've visited a lot of service based businesses social media pages, and their image sizes are off the whack. So number one thing we'll talk about is basically social media image size guide for your business. So what we have done is all the the whole guide is in the show notes, so you guys can access it at rapidboostmarketing.com/grow, and you'll see, how much Instagram post should be how much Twitter header photo should be what's Pinterest profile picture is so also all of that, right? Google plus image post, Google plus profile cover image, all these precise um measurements of of these social media images, because if you don't have a proper size, it looks very unprofessional and your brand doesn't look consistent across different channels. So make sure you look into that. Number 2, we are talking about how can you basically get more traffic and leads using infographic. So let me tell you an example, right? There was an infographic created by a copy blogger. It's a blog out there, and it was 15 grammar goofs that make you look silly. It generated over 250,000 shares, and the reason was that is 65% of us are visual learners, and 90% of us transform information to the brain as visual information. So the beauty of infographic is that infographic usually presents research and in-depth data, which can help you get a lot of traffic and shares, right? People love to share infographic. I'm sure that you have also shared an infographic if it was really well done. What in the show notes, there's also an example of that infographic I talked about, but there's actually also 5 tools to help you create those infographics, so go and check that out. So number 3, how can you find long tail keywords, right? Because long tail keywords are 70% of the search engine traffic on Google and Bing. What is long tail keyword to start with? Long tail keyword means that people are typing anywhere from 3 plus words all the way to 5 to 6 words when they're searching. Example: custom leather boots made in Canada. Very precise, right? Leather jacket made in Mexico. Very precise. So 70 to 80% of the search traffic is basically long tail keywords. So how can you find that how can you tap into those long tail keywords? Because long tail keywords are very easy to rank. You can actually it's less competition there, and if you use a proper strategy, you can get a lot of search traffic through long tail keywords. So go and check it out in the show notes, and basically it walks you through a whole process, that not only how to find long tail keywords, but also some free tools to help you do that. All right. Number 4, so a lot of us ignore one very important Google ranking factor. Okay, so Google recently made this thing as part of their algorithm, that searchers intent. So what do I mean by that? When people are looking for information, and if you're ranking number 2, number 3, number 1, number 5, and that person ends up on your website, did they found what they were looking for, or did they bounce back? How much time did they spend on the website? those are very interesting, stats that Google is paying attention to, because Google wants to find out, try to get, they want to understand that how they can provide relevant information and help save time. So the only way you will going to trust Google more is basically, Google shows you more precise and good results. So that means the relevancy of the information is very important. So when people, looking for information, and if they land on your website, make sure that it has enough information so they can make a decision. If you don't provide good information, they will bounce back. Okay. All right. Number 5. I think we are, yes, we are actually, on number 6 actually. So now, this is very interesting, that how should you be branding on your branded keywords or not. This is what, this all, this strategy is about. Now a lot of people ask me that, okay, I mean, should I even be basically, bidding on my own branded keywords? And I always say that, depends on the instances. So example is, in your local city, are your competitors bidding on your brand name? I mean, example that, your XYZ dentist or XYZ law firm, and when we type on in the Google, are there other people branding on your keyword, bidding on your keywords? Find that out. Also find out that, uh, are people who is bidding on your competitor keywords, right? So once you have all that data, then evaluate that. Let's say if no one is bidding on each other's keyword, usually this is a good opportunity, because usually those keywords will be very cheaper relatively, and most of those people are not taking advantage of it. So if you bid on your competitor's keyword, you might be able to get, anywhere from dollar to $2 to $3, a very cheap click in comparison to, like a keyword which is relative to your industry. So let's say, local dentist in New York should be $15, but if you bid on your competitors, a name, you might be able to get away with, very cheap cost per click, because, this is usually not taken it, usually people don't take advantage of this. Also, you can basically combine combination of keywords. So let's say orthodontist XYZ clinic, so you can also bid on keywords in combination, right? In the show notes, I've actually went over a few other things, things like, you can bid on keywords like, deal, special offer, like Black Friday just went, we have a crisp Boxing Day coming up. So there's a lot of strategies around how can you bid on branded keywords and take advantage of that basically. All right. So last strategy for today is basically, what is the most important thing when it comes to search engine optimization on page, things you do on your own website? What is the most important things? And I've included basically the whole infographic, and it outlines 16 key things which are very important for you when it comes to, search engines, right? And that's what basically, search engines are expecting you to do. And some of them are things like H1 tag, your meta description, your keywords, are you using your keyword in the first 100 words, responsive design, outbound links, internal links, your site speed, image optimization, social sharing button. So there's a lot of, these things. So make sure that, you go over this on page SEO checklist, right? And it basically covers the most important things when it comes to on page search engine optimization. So this is basically the weekly roundup. We discussed 7 business growth strategies, and so all of the links are in the show notes. You guys can access it at rapidboostmarketing.com/grow, and all those 7 strategies are outlined there. We also have a link to the previous week's 7 business growth strategies. You can basically access that too. I'll catch you tomorrow bright and early in episode 130 of Business Growth School for Service Providers. I'm your host Ali Salman, and this podcast is brought to you by Rapid Boost Marketing, online marketing for service providers. Have a good day, guys. Make it count. Bye bye.